My journey as a Christian started back as far as I can remember. I've always believed in Jesus, and it's always affected my life to different extents throughout everything. I went through periods where it was more important, and I spent more time trying to grow as a Christian, and times where I just that's what I believed and that's what I did because that's what I did. This year, though, has been different for me. 2016 has been the most significant year of my life. Actually started in November of 2015. I found out that I had a rare cancer, a big old ginormous tumor in my chest. Went to the emergency room, thought I had walking pneumonia, and then all of a sudden, there I am spending 21 days in the hospital, getting diagnosed with cancer, starting chemo, getting a port placed. So that part of 2015, the end part, my whole life changed. It was funny because through all of that, my heart, through the diagnosis, through the beginning of everything, my heart wasn't crying out that God would heal me or that God would change the circumstance I was in. The very deepest part of my soul was crying out that God would be there and that He would be real and that He would prove that He loved me. See, I'd lived such a blessed life, and the Lord had been so good to me, and I'd always wondered what would happen when I was faced with something big. Because you don't really know. You don't really know how you're going to react. You don't really know what you're going to put your faith in. And I'd always claimed that Jesus would be at the center, and I would choose to trust Him when He needed to. But this was the first time. This was the first time I really had to decide, and I had to face that. So here I am. I spent years working on becoming good soil, doing all the Christian things, reading my Bible, loving people, forgiving, all that stuff that you're supposed to do as a Christian. And then all of a sudden, here it is. Rubber meets the road. What do we do? And God met me in some amazing ways. Not once over the past year did I cry out to God and ask Him to be there, and He wasn't. And that changes your faith in a way that you don't know. It just hits you. I would have said I believed everything the same. I don't think I believe anything new, but in a new way, God has proven that He is real and He is faithful and He loves me. And He's kept His promise of being with me. So over the past year, I've spent 125 plus nights in the hospital. I've had 8 rounds of chemotherapy, 2 at a time, 2 different drugs at a time. I had 9 blood transfusions. I had a major chest surgery, a couple handfuls of different complications. It could have been the scariest and the hardest and the darkest time of my life. In lots of ways it was. But in more ways, God showed up in that darkness and He brought such light. So fast forward to September of this past year. I go to the doctor, I find out you've done it, you've made it, your cancer is gone for now, and we're not going to see it for 3 months. And my parents went with me, they'd been living with me, taking care of me, helping me go to the bathroom, helping me shower when I was too sick to do it on my own. And I We go to the doctor on a Thursday. Monday morning, I get a phone call from my dad. And long story short, my mom had a stroke and died that day. So here I am thinking, oh, we made it, a breath of fresh air. God sustained me, he's been so good. And then once again, here I am. I can't do this on my own. Who am I going to trust? What am I going to do? And once again, God met me in that place of deep sorrow and deep need. And he was there. He was real. And he loved me. It's really weird to say that I'm earnestly thankful for the cancer I had. But looking back, how many kids, if they knew they were going to lose a parent, would give anything to be able to spend that extra time with them, to have those conversations that are easy not to have, to rehearse the truth of the love of God and victory over death and faith in Jesus, to rehearse all those things to each other. We thought we were rehearsing for me. All those things were true of my mom. So when Jesus decided to call her home, once again, in the deepest part of my heart, I just needed God to be real and to be there. And he was. So how do you become good soil? We tend to think that comfort is a blessing and that trials are a curse. And I now, with my whole heart, know that isn't true. Know that God, in his sovereignty and goodness, can meet you in the darkest places and amaze you with how good he is. It has nothing to do with me. It has nothing to do with how many Jesus books I read or how much I pray or how much, all those Christian ways that we try to measure how good we are. It just comes down to the fact that when we are sick, when we're helpless, when we're weary, when we're tired, when we're desperate, there is a good, good Father who will meet us in that. So I don't know what you're facing today. I know that you all have stories. I know that you all have trials. I know that sometimes life feels like too much to handle. But I can tell you from the depths of my soul that it is not too much for God. And God will meet you in that. He promises that. And he's good and faithful.